Hi, I'm Chrissy Marsh.
Hi, I'm Matty Samaei.
I had to have Matty back because we had so much fun. Well, I don't know if we had fun the first time. We just
We
went a lot of
did.
places that we
I
just
know.
didn't
We
expect.
talked about everything, the
I
whole
know,
life.
I know.
Like in 30
Just-
minutes.
we went through divorce, we went through sex, we went through boyfriends, dying animals.
Death.
Oh my gosh. Well, today we're going to talk about something that I know you're an absolute expert at, because everyone says to me, and I'm talking myself up here, because in life, if you don't think you're beautiful yourself, no one else is going to.
That is so true.
And everyone always tells me, Matty,
You are.
how fabulous I
They
look.
say when you stand in front of the mirror, make sure you stick your stomach in and go, I'm hot. Because if you have your
Oh,
stomach
then Mel
out and
Robbins
go,
says, high five yourself. Like, you got this, girl. You got this. But I would love to talk to you about aging.
oh, yes.
And I'm not talking about like the Botox and the this
No.
and the that. I want to talk about aging from a different perspective.
Yes.
And for me, it's very much I feel younger now,
Yes.
regardless of what you've done to my face.
Yes.
I feel younger now on the inside than I probably did in my 30s. Because in my 30s, I was starting a new business. I had small babies. I didn't have time to exercise, let alone time to walk the dog.
That's very true.
Now, in my 50s,
Yes, you're getting a second chance, I think, in life. We all do, because the kids grow up. They don't need you as much. Yes, you feel more tired, but I think something for me has happened. As I'm getting older, the little things that used to make me sweat, they don't. You become more accepting of life
and people.
and people. You reduce your expectation of a lot of people.
Reduce your
People-
friendship groups.
Friendship group. And I'll tell you guys, that is one of the best things you do. But it's quite funny because as I go, your eyes can see worse, but you see through the bullshit a lot easier.
Yes, you do.
It is very, very true as part of aging. And it is a shame. One thing that Persians say, they always say, youth is wasted on young people.
Yes.
So it'd be nicer that you had a Benjamin Button thing as you get older, because especially with someone like you, I think a lot of aging comes from how you feel and how you see yourself, and it's about your energy. You can at times meet up with people in the 70s that they have got more life and lively energy in them than you can do with someone in the 40s or 20s.
So what would you tell, and this is what I find interesting, you're saying you've got a lot more wisdom now.
Yeah.
So
Oh.
Maddie at 20.
That means I was really dumb.
Maddie at 20 to Maddie now, tell me.
I tell you what I would say to myself. Firstly, don't sweat the little things.
I agree with that.
Don't
Big
care
time.
what people think.
Exactly.
I
Run
wasted
your
a
own race.
lot of time thinking and caring what people thought
I
of
never did.
me. And that was one of my biggest mistakes.
Yeah.
I think from the age of 40, that really reduced for
Did
me.
you overthink or did you worry? What was it?
I am an ADHD person. I overthought and I
Are
worried.
you self-diagnosed, Maddie?
No, by a psychiatrist.
So many people. I'm a self-diagnosed
Yeah.
ADHD.
I am ADHD, and it's very funny because I loved my job from the get-go. And I always, the best advice I can give young people, do something you love because you never work a day.
Yeah.
It is my passion. It's my hobby. And for that purpose, it was very hard to diagnose me with ADHD, because ADHD people jump from one thing to another. They do this job, they don't like it. They do this, they don't like it. In the things I don't like, I'm a procrastinator. It would take like admin work. I'm shocking.
Oh my God.
In my own
Sounds
job,
like someone I know.
injecting, I love it and I can do it. I'm hyper focused.
Yeah.
So I'm an extreme personality, this or that. But as you kind of get older, I think you become freer. I mean, forget about, the only bad thing I can say about it is my joint ache, and I don't walk on
The
heels as
vaping.
much.
No.
I'm still
But
trying
you know,
to do
I
it.
found with the whole ADHD thing, when I was younger, the only thing, like I'd never overthought a lot, or
Yeah.
I used to judge people super
Yeah.
quickly and write people off. So I'd meet
Very,
them, not
yeah.
like them, and go, no, I don't want to speak to that person. He's a dickhead. He's this, he's a fuckwit. And just literally like, whereas now I've got a lot more tolerance for people, because
Yeah.
I realize everyone does have a story.
Yes.
You never know what someone's going through
Yes.
behind closed doors.
Yes.
So
and
I
you
think
don't see them in that one dimension anymore.
no.
You see more
Exactly.
dimensions to
Yeah.
people.
And I think that's been a really interesting thing of my self-diagnosed
Yeah.
ADHD is it does make you very perceptive and it does make you sort of look at people. But one thing I would say that I've had since I was in my 20s till now is go with your gut. Go with
Yes.
that feeling you have inside yourself with
Yes.
business, with property purchases,
Very
with
much so.
love, with life. I mean, if you've got a great story, you can tell me where you've gone
That's
with your
very
gut for
much
something.
so. The gut feeling. Few times mine has been opposite because I didn't follow my gut feeling. And whenever I haven't, it's been very rarely I didn't follow my gut feeling. And I said, well, I'm glad I didn't do that. Normally, and especially as women, I do believe in women's intuition.
Oh, yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, I think, look, I definitely believe in the gut feel. I mean, I had a situation, and I was just telling this to Nico's girlfriend who's just gone off to Bali. And I said, whatever you do when you're in Bali, listen to your gut. And she's like, why? What are you talking about? I hopped into the taxis over there. You know how every taxi
Yeah.
looks like a car. I got into the back seat with a girlfriend of mine. We were sitting there, the guy's about to take off, and another guy hops into the front seat. They had locked us in the back. It was sort of like a Suzuki Swift.
Yeah.
I just looked at her and I was like, nah, they chased us. They never caught us. We ended up in the sort of the whole Seminyak shopping centre area. They never actually caught up with us. But why would taxi drivers chase you? My son's like, oh, Mum, you didn't pay. I'm like, the car hadn't even started yet. It wasn't about paying. But that's where it got. I mean, what could have happened to us that night, I've got no idea. But that's where I'm a really big believer. If it doesn't feel right, it's not right. If you smell a rat, there is a rat.
There is a rat, always. Always.
I think,
I don't have one as exciting as yours.
but I think in a relationship, like so
Very
many
much so.
people don't want to be single. So they push through.
You push through because
You think
for
they're
the
going to
sake of
change,
it.
they're going to be different, they're
No
going to
one's
be
changing.
no.
No one's
If they were a
changing.
dickhead to begin with, they're going to be a dickhead at the end.
I did this
If they were bad in bed
relationship.
at the beginning, they're going to be bad in bed at the end.
Oh, they get worse. Nothing gets better. I dated this guy, and I remember we broke up. That was before my birthday, as you know, and we kind of got back together. For the first 3 weeks, I thought, my God, you've changed. This is great. Came back to itself even worse. People don't change. People just become a bit worse. And what you don't like at the first beginning, imagine how much harder it gets, because that's what's going to irritate and annoy you.
Yeah.
If someone is slow, if someone runs late, if someone doesn't do the thing, and everything becomes harder. And especially, I think, as we get older, if you got OCD, OCD will be worse. If you're a, super paranoid person, we kind of become a little bit more exaggerated
as
while we
you
were
age,
younger.
as you get older. Yeah.
Like it becomes worse. If you, forgetful, you become a bit more forgetful. So things become, my mother used to gossip and talk a bit. And towards the end of it, I used to go to her house and she used to repeat telling me, oh, guess what, such and such.
I do that on the
guess
vodka,
what, it
Matty.
did that.
I repeat a lot on the vodka.
Oh, is that the other night?
But I think what is important is if people do become single and need to get out there again, I think they've got to think about, when they were younger, putting all that baggage behind them, going out there with sort of fresh eyes, not bringing all that sort of, as you get older, you can bring a lot of baggage with you. I think you've got to keep a light energy and a light spirit, and that's what stops you from aging so much. And not worrying.
I think have fun.
Yes.
I think dating is a lot of fun.
Yeah. Aging is a lot of fun.
And yes, as long
Guess what I
as
said this year to
you're
Johnny?
getting few boom, boom, boom. It is a lot of fun.
I said to Johnny this
And
year,
very
I can't believe
expensive.
I'm turning 53. I said, where's the time flown?
It
And
goes
he goes,
really
baby,
quick.
you're turning 55. I said, I've just lost 2 years.
I know. For a second,
So-
I thought,
I don't know why people feel the need to lie about age. Do you get that? I think a life well lived.
you want to know the truth? Of
Yeah.
course, I lied on a dating app.
Did you? Why?
100%.
Why? Do you want to shag some young hottie?
No, but I just thought I'll keep it at 47.
But Maddie, you can't keep it at 47 forever.
I know, but I just tried.
And did it work?
And no, one of my exes saw me and he goes, 76 was a good year. And I was like, freak. And then another guy knew my age, so he reported me, so I got banned.
Oh my gosh! I mean,
know.
come on, it's
I
a
know.
thing.
And then I
Look
had,
at Zsa Zsa Gabor. She lied about her age till the day she died.
of course.
No one quite knew.
I am going to be 47 and a half.
Do you know my grandfather? My grandfather got the next door neighbor pregnant when
Yeah.
he was in his 70s, and the biggest thing at the funeral was
In his
in his
70s?
70s.
Did
She
she
said he
keep the
used to be able to
baby?
hang a wet washer off it, meaning he was still able to keep it up. And you can imagine what my poor mother thought. But he was quite an interesting character because he never told anyone his age. So men lie about their age too. It's not just a
Everybody
women's
does.
thing. Yeah,
Everybody does. It's just, you know what? That's a little white lie.
yeah.
You're allowed to,
Yeah.
especially on a dating app, because you know what? All those guys are lying too.
Are they?
Yeah.
That's kind of hard. You're starting off on a dishonest playing
Yeah,
field,
but
Matty.
only 2 or 3 years. And the worst part is when you go on a date and they are a lot older, like 10 years, you can't do that. You can't. No, but I've actually wasn't that much into the younger men dating because I thought it's not going to go anywhere. What am I going to do? What are we
Yeah.
going to do? Well, I suppose I can imagine what I'm going to do, but how long am I going to do it for? It's the
Well, I don't know,
question.
Matty. How long can you do it for? Do you want to start disclosing?
How
this
long is a
for all
piece of
those-
string?
For all those people asking out there, how long can Matty do it for? We'd like to know. What's the average time? And this is the other thing that I find really interesting, is women come into their prime sexually. They say after their 40s, sort of
Yes.
between 40.
Good time to get divorced, ladies.
For-
Divorce.
and go for the younger man. But between 40 and 60. So, for me, there's no downsize other than a saggy ass.
Yeah. You can
Then
get a butt
I know
lift.
you got a butt lift.
Yeah,
I know
I
your
do.
ass looks good every time I
Thank
see you in
you.
jeans. You look
Thank you.
fabulous. Can we
Thank
just
you.
talk that through? Look, if
Yeah, you
anyone's
can.
thinking of a butt lift,
Yeah.
Maddie was a nightmare, an absolute nightmare.
It
when
was
she
the
got,
most excruciating procedure I think I've experienced. And for me, I am in the cosmetic industry. I think if I found it horrible, I can just imagine an average person. The way it came about, I was in a fitting room, have a look at my butt, and I thought my butt and my face don't match, which is fine. And one of my staff members actually wanted to go to this specific doctor to discuss it. We ended up there. Obviously, I ended up being
you were
the
bent
patient.
over.
For 4 months, I could not sit.
No wonder you got so much work done.
I could not lie on my back because on the front I have breast implants, so I can't sleep on my front. On the sides I don't lie because I get wrinkle. On the back I couldn't sleep. So I was practically, it was a nightmare.
Yeah.
It was a nightmare, but I'm glad I did it. But would I do it again? I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think I'll have the nerves for
I
it.
think a lot of the time you don't think about, because it became such a popular thing.
It was at
Everyone
the
was
time.
doing them, and you heard about it the whole time. I mean,
Yeah.
that's something. As I age, it's something that I would have considered
Till you saw
until
me.
I saw you and realized how much pain. And really, like I am into tweaks and whatever. But, how far would I go is
Yeah.
quite an interesting thing. I
Yeah.
went to a 60th on the weekend, and there was like 6 people there that have just recently had facelifts.
I know so many people are
But you
doing
can
it.
actually still see like the full scars around here and stuff. And I'm thinking,
Yeah.
oh my God, I'm so olive.
Yeah.
How's that going to be? I think there's so many
See,
risks.
I think a lot of anti-aging treatments are really for aging community, and I think a lot of younger people are, by younger I mean 30s, they turn into it, which is unnecessary. But with a facelift, I think you really need to do it when you need it, because a lot of people go, oh, do it, and a lot of the surgeons, I believe, they encourage it, especially in America, do it before your face drops. But I think you need to have loose skin to pull, and that's why some people do
Looks
look
so strange.
freaky.
Yeah, exactly. For me, looking at Kylie, like I do not want to look like my daughter. And I look
Yeah.
at so many of my friends, not only like you look at Kris Jenner and Kim Kardashian, they look identical. She almost looks younger
Yeah.
than Kim. I never want to do that with Milana. I never
Yeah.
want to sit beside Milana and not look like her
Yeah.
mother.
Yeah.
What do you think about
You know what's funny with Kris Jenner? I think this is my opinion of it, and I tell my clients because everyone goes, "Oh my gosh, she's had a second face if she looks good," but we don't actually see her in real life.
Exactly.
Second thing is we don't see her in 3 dimension. It's very different. You have to see that woman speak.
Side on,
Side on,
exactly.
speak and eat.
Yes.
Smile at you. So in a
So
photo,
true.
and especially the Kardashian
they're all
family,
filtered. All
it is so filtered.
I'm
They're the
so
queen
sick
of
filters.
filters.
I'm so sick of filters.
It's like filter, filter, filter. The other day, I look at some girl's picture and I didn't recognize her.
No.
I didn't even know who she
But
was.
you know what's funny about filters? I get to see so many people around, my friends, that use filters that I mightn't have seen for a while.
Yeah.
I look at them and see them and think, gee, you look like shit.
Yeah.
Because they don't look like the filtered self, where actually they probably look
Yes.
good. This is the problem. Like, I have a lot of people say to me, oh, wow, you look so much better in real life.
Yeah.
Because I don't use filters.
Yeah.
Because you're creating this unrealistic
Yeah.
image of yourself that you can never portray or never see.
Yeah.
But a game changer on social media is, do guys ever use filters, do you think? On
In
photos?
Australia, we have had a new rule since last year that we're not allowed to promote it or use filter, but I think in other countries they do. I've looked at Turkey, and a lot of before and afters do have filters on it. And you can't really identify what's real, what's not. And also, what I find, on an average person using filter, you might get away with it. On someone like me that I've had my lips done, I've had a little bit of very, very minor, as you all can see, work done. Filters can actually exaggerate your features and you can look weirder.
Yes.
So filters is not for everyone either.
No.
You know, on a younger girl, let's say if Milana used a little bit of a filter, she look glamorous, gorgeous, because she's got a very natural, youthful face. But when you come and use the same filter on me, I can look completely like a different person. And, you know, and a lot of people
setting
use it.
unrealistic
It's
goals
unrealistic
and unrealistic.
expectation.
It really upsets me, and that's why I think that this whole ban or trying to ban social media, I think we'll look back on our phones, and we will be saying, why did we allow our daughters, why did we allow our sons to be comparing themselves, to be, you know, constantly in comparison, and you're not comparing like with like. It's not an apple with an apple, it's an apple with an AI.
Completely
or it's an apple with an AI
different.
created
Yeah.
image, and it's creating this whole, I mean, that's a whole other episode that we could really unpack.
So on that topic of dating app, there was a guy that FaceTimed me. And I was like, what a weirdo. Why is he FaceTiming me? So I had never met him. And I said to him, sorry, why are you FaceTiming me? He goes, do you mind? I have been catfished so many times. I want to make sure you look like you. And I always use my own photos because it's the last thing I wanted to go on a date that a guy walks in and goes, she doesn't look like herself.
No.
Because there's no point.
And you're not going to use a photo from Housewives where you were touched up, and who knows what happened to us on Housewives, Matty.
God. That was a whole different story. The best time of Housewives was Singapore, though.
Oh, my God.
Room 1803.
How much fun did we have?
We had a lot of fun after filming.
We used to go back to
I know.
skinny bitches.
And I think what a lot of people don't get, that some of the footage that they see for 5 minutes, we literally filmed for that from 10 a.m. till 8 p.m. Like by the time
So that's why you had enough
finished,
when you smashed that glass
Oh,
at the
I had
end.
enough.
You had had enough.
Had enough.
Yeah, you wanted it
It
to
was
end.
just too much. And you know what? That went for like, what?
Hours.
4 months of filming?
Yeah. But that's also a way that you can end, that we could have ended filming as well, is by creating some dramatic, like when Victoria threw, she was basically told she was allowed to go
she
home with
was.
Austin if she threw
she did.
Athena's net,
Yeah.
shawl over.
Yeah.
So those, you smashing the champagne.
And to be fair to us, when we did the first season, you had never done a reality show.
No.
I had done some morning show, but I hadn't done reality television. We didn't know what to do. And we were told, you go and you say it. But you know what I realized after the first few episodes filming, I don't have to say what you tell me, and you try to change it, but
See,
it
season 2 and 3
becomes
for
harder.
me, and when people go, oh, you know, it's what people wanted us to say, I'm like, no, it came out of your mouth.
Yeah.
I very much knew I was only ever, which I did from season 1 as well. I only ever did. I pushed back a lot.
Yeah.
I only ever said and did what I wanted to say and do. Yes, they can edit it.
Yes.
Yes, they can. I mean, I had a maths girl complaining, going, oh, but they portrayed me like that. I'm no, honey. It
No,
came
you
out of your
are.
mouth.
Yeah. It comes out of your mouth. And also, by the time you guys did season 3, you all knew. We all know
But the
what
things we
happens.
worried about,
Yeah.
the things we worried about in season 1, we look at now and go, oh my God, it was so irrelevant.
Oh
but
my
it's a part
God.
of your life, and
Can
it's so
I-
intense, and filming every day. And
So you and I talked about this during COVID before you did season 2. And this was really interesting because I watched season 1 as you remember, 3 days before it aired, we got it. We watched the episode.
And we could discuss with our family if
And
there's
then we
anything
discussed it, and we
bad
were
or-
prepared for social media, how other people see it. But the funny part was, after the season ended, you said you never watched it. I never watched it. You even rang me one day. You go, I'm actually watching it. This was like a year ago.
Yeah.
It's not too bad. And I started watching it because my current boyfriend said, let's watch it. And now I look at it and I said, God, I stress so much over this.
I know. And it was funny.
Like, talk about overthinking and ADHD.
Yeah.
I'm
but,
worried.
But I think that's what happens when you're on that reality. It's a
Yeah.
bubble that they're creating, and they're creating that tension deliberately. They're creating
Well,
that.
they need it.
Yes, exactly.
They
so
need it.
But also, the producers aren't necessarily creating it either. I think it's all of those big personalities in a room together,
Yes.
competing for what? It's not Survivor, but
Yeah.
a lot of the time that happens. So,
To just get a word in.
oh my God.
I remember in our season was really, really hard to talk sometimes because this one's yelling, that one's yelling. I mean, with ours, I sometimes look at it and I remember that episode where we went to Whit Sundays. I was just sitting on the boat
Gosh,
going,
you know
why
what?
did I
If
sign
what
in for
actually
this?
happened that night, where Lisa went mad, ended up going off the boat, like people
But we
think-
didn't know.
No, but no one ever shows this. You
Yeah.
know, this is the funny thing about reality shows. They're like, oh my gosh, it's made up, it's scripted. I'm like, guys, if you actually saw, like, what about when she said she was, being rescued
I know,
by the man, and it was
rescued. I
all
know.
lies, and it's
I
like all
know.
of the stuff that goes on behind it. It's
Yeah.
like, come on, guys.
And the productions here, the productions there, they're not telling us what to do, but their job is to aggravate the situation. There's nothing better than on a reality show, it's a producer's dream that two people coming and they don't get along.
Yes.
And that's a dream.
Yeah.
Because you know what? It's funny because people want to see this conflict. And it's sometimes quite sad because I just think the word is bad, they're pretty bad. Why do you want to constantly watch other people fight? Does that
Yeah,
make
but they're
the
not
word
watching
feel
it for that. They're
funny?
watching it for voyeurism. They're watching it to look at the, the handbags,
Yes.
the beautiful,
Yeah.
shoes. And
Yeah.
so I think there's a whole
Different side to it
different
as
side
well.
to it. I mean, look at
Yeah.
YouTube, how popular that is. And most of that
Yeah.
is reality TV.
Yeah.
But the best thing to come out of reality TV is you, Matty.
Is you as
Is
well.
our
Salt and
friendships.
pepper.
We love you. Salt
Love
and
you
pepper.
too.
So if you got anything out of this, I can't even remember what bloody topic. What was our topic again?
Aging.
Aging. Did we even cover that?
No.
No, we
That's
talked
for
about
next
some
week.
penises or something.
We always
It
do.
always results
It
back,
always
revolves back
goes
to that.
goes to sex.
But if you if you want to hear about Matty's sex life, if you want to hear how long her piece of string is, make sure you pass it on to someone else, forward it on, subscribe on Spotify. Can't wait to chat to you next week.
Maybe they should do a Bachelorette for 50-year-old plus.
I think
to
that's
see
a
the
great idea, Matty.
geriatrics.
That would be a great idea. I'd love to
Do you
hear
wanna
about
watch-
that.
Do you want to see old people
You pashing all that. Yeah, someone giving you a rose.
Yeah,
You know,
a hot
oh
one.
my God, yeah.
yeah, we could
I
do
might
that.
be your sidekick on that one, Matty.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I'll vet them all for you.
All right.
There's no harm in
Here
looking,
we go.
Johnny. No harm in looking, baby. Love you, Johnny. Bye. Matty, let go of that big black thing. You're really enjoying that,
typical.
Matty.